Morning, everybody. How are we all doing? Morning, Jason. Morning, Andy. Ready for another day of sideways action? It's going to be good today. We've got some news. The market is going to move today. We're going to make some money, finally. So, we're on our fourth day now of accumulation on the US dollar. So started on Friday last week, and literally the whole week so far we have gone nowhere. So we're ready for the pop today. It is coming today. I have been reliably informed it's happening. So this afternoon, CPI 130, hour before the market open. We're going to get some movement. We've got Bailey talking in roughly half an hour as well. So I'm going to stay on, make sure I stay on for that. Morning, Jacob. Because Bailey could well come out and say something that's going to move the pound this morning. We've got Lagarde at 10 o'clock. Again, she... it's the economic forecast. I thought that was Lagarde speaking. I'm not sure who delivers that. Might not do anything. It's just the forecasts, so I don't think there is a Q&A with that. So yeah, it might not do anything. But we have got Euro forecast this morning. Might do something. We'll keep an eye on those. Morning, Aseni. So yeah, good news day today. We got 30-year bonds later. We got low speaking aftermarket as well. So today is the day we've been waiting for. Obviously, all week we've had no news. So we've been waiting for CPI, as has the market. So this afternoon, kickstart. So we may well see London move today as well. It's not unusual for them to put in a fake move ahead of news. So we might see some US dollar weakness coming in this morning. We'll see. The markets so far at the open have coming down quite hard. The DAX, the Dow, NASDAQ, everything's coming down this morning, which would be indicative of maybe a little bit of a US push, but we'll see how the market carries on through the morning. But if we get a push down this morning, a lot of people will be looking for a fade, as I am on that move. So any longs would have been entered. Yeah. And all the stops will be under here. So it would not be unusual to see that happen this morning. If that doesn't happen this morning, we could well get a wick on CPI and then push. But I think they're going to want to take whatever liquidity is down here before they go. So we'll see. So that's kind of what we're looking for this morning, stroke on the news. But yeah, we should be at that consolidation today. Jason wants to have a look at the US dollar CAD bias. US dollar CAD is long. So COT bias is long on the US dollar. I'm long on the US dollar. We're not interested in going below that level at the moment. So again, all waiting for the US dollar news. Nothing's going to move until the US dollar CPI is out, or if they are going to move it this morning, it's going to be indicative of what we're going to do with CPI. So whatever you're in US dollar wise this week, I've got a few US dollars on, and you're literally just going to sit there and wait for the news. The news moves the market. With no news, the market doesn't move. So you can't do anything until that happens. But yeah, long. I am anyway. So yeah, look for reverse alerts long, but don't expect to go anywhere yet. Unless you're trading really small time frames, obviously, then yeah, had one there. But if you're trading small time frames, you're going to get spreaded to death. So ADRs today, nothing. It's Thursday, so the weeklies on a Thursday are a bit touch and go. Euro odd obviously has pushed down quite hard. So the Australian dollar is on a bit of a mission at the moment, which is nice because it hasn't been. a lovely double top just gone on Aussie US there for a short. Just had an alert on M5, 7 pip stop. Minimum 25 pip move down if we're going to take out the Asian low. Nice little risk reward trade there. So yeah, Euro odd is doing the same thing, wicking down. Euro odd is a short. We have hit the lows, but I would be looking for shorts on the Aussie dollar, on the euro anyway. So obviously I played this one last Friday, and I got out on Monday or Tuesday, can't remember. So up to you if you want to try and long this and fade it back. We'd probably get a good pullback, maybe an ADR. But that's all I'd really be looking for on that one. Euro New Zealand, same thing. It's Euro New Zealand, Euro odd are the same thing. Trade one or the other, don't trade both. Pound CAD. Pound odd. Again, pound odd, trade one or the other, don't trade both. Euro and the pound. So there's one trade there. All three of those are the same trade. So, but it's Thursday, so I like weeklies that hit hard. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday's a little bit less reliable, but they're all there. The only monthlies we've had, we look at these every day, the monthlies, it's the Euros. So Euro Swiss and Euro Pound. Again, we're waiting on the Euro Swiss, a 3-day accumulation. It's going to pop. It's going to pop when the US dollar news is out. And the Euro Pound. Same thing, accumulation, but it will drop. So, ADRs, nothing today so far. 4 hours. We've got a few lit up. We had a few playing out. I didn't bank much yesterday. I didn't bank anything. I did. Yes, I did. Banked trend pullback. I banked a CAD. One trade, CAD yen. That little one, but it's so. I mean, look how slow this market is. Just 2 weeks, not gone anywhere. It's this yen. It's not doing anything. Same as the US dollar. The yen and the US dollar are just asleep at the minute. So it's so difficult to extract anything. But I've taken 2 longs on this one, as you can see. Took that one as well, which I think we got out of somewhere around there. So yeah. So managed to bank a paltry 0.5% yesterday. None of the others have banked anything. They're all just sitting in positions waiting to bank. The strategy quant EAs had a good day yesterday. 105, just 1% on the portfolio of 50, and the portfolio of 100 managed to bank 5% yesterday. So all these losses that we had a minus 1,000 something day. Last week, we pulled it all back. So yeah, nice, that sort of movement we're getting on the portfolio, which is good. So that's doing quite well as well. But still forward testing those. So yeah, so H4s today, Aussie dollar yen, first thing. Really nice extended. This one, we've been embedded on this Aussie yen for a couple of days now. So we got extended. The Aussie dollar has continued to push and the yen has not woken up at all. But again, I think this afternoon, possibly we are going to get some yen strength. We've just taken out this liquidity here for everybody that went in short yesterday. And we're pushing up again and taking more liquidity from yesterday's move. So again, this still has not had a breather yet. We've pushed up. We've had a small accumulation. So we're on the, first, second, third. We're going into the 4th leg now, which is way beyond normal movement before we get a profit take move. So this thing's ready to pounce. And I get the feeling basically we're going to find the US dollar CPI is going to move everything this afternoon, because we've had a lot of either accumulation, as we've seen on the US dollar and a few other pairs, and no movement, or we've had sustained buying or sustained selling with no profit takes. Because there's been nothing to basically allow a big dump into the market. So I think CPI today is probably going to start the moves out of the accumulations and or the profit takes out of the squeezes. So we should have a really good day today, I think, when we get that news hitting, hopefully. But, anything can happen. It could just not do a lot. Really, the number's going to be totally irrelevant. Whatever that number comes out of a CPI, it doesn't matter. It's an opportunity for them to go and find some pending orders and some stops, grab some liquidity and run off with it. So you have to assume, obviously, that whatever movement we've had is now going to get the pullback. Whether it's a pullback or a reversal, impossible to tell. We could get an A-shaped recovery. We could get pullback and push. Don't know. Depends on what happens with the yen, really. But Aussie dollar yen, very, very, very nicely extended. CAD yen in the same boat. We had the CAD, we had the oil yesterday, which was positive for the CAD. So we had a little bit of a movement on the CAD off of the oil news yesterday. So Asia, we've just basically pushed out the highs and dropping at the minute. But again, just about got extended on this one. Not the greatest opportunity in the world, but we are running into selling pressure here from the initial move down out of this accumulation. So there are going to be sellers sitting here. That wasn't a very big move, and we've gone into another accumulation. So potentially we're looking for a short, but I mean, this is not as nice a move as the Aussie yen, because we've had Aussie strength. So the CAD yen I don't think is as nice of a yen short as the CAD one is. Euro yen, this thing's just stuck. We got nothing on the yen. So obviously we had the big push. All the other euros have played out. So we faded all the other euro moves. They've all played out very, very nicely. So the euro odd, the euro CAD, the euro pound hasn't yet. And the Euro Swiss, but the Euro New Zealand and the Euro US. So there's a few actually that haven't played out yet because we're waiting for the US obviously to move. So, but most of the ones we got into have obviously all done now, and they've come down to support. So again, this one looking good for a drop of any of the pairs. Obviously, the Euro is the one I'm always bearish on. So again, 10 o'clock this morning, we may well have something come out of the Euros. Announcement for the forecasts, which is it's going to. Sorry, I just want to say I'm just seeing I've got a DAX trade on at the minute. Where are we? 18 pips. That's right. Let that run. That's okay. Euro yen, pound New Zealand. I'm stuck in EJ2, Simeon. Yeah. If you're in any euros or any yens really at the moment, the yen's just it's because of the US dollar. There's no catalysts. The yen will move. It doesn't always move the same as the US dollar, but it moves when the US dollar moves a lot of the time. And because we've had a stagnant US dollar for the last 3 days, the yen's been stagnant too. But the yen's actually been a little bit weaker as well, which hasn't helped. It's helped all the other pairs push against it. And you can see that in the euro yen because the euro's got nothing. We can see that from all the other movement that we've had on the euro pairs. We've had nothing on this, and it's actually pushed higher. Yeah, with all the others, all the other euros, every other currency has had an opportunity to move, hasn't it? Even the Swissy, we've had a bit of a movement there. But with the yen, the euro's actually been stronger than the yen, which is incredible because the euro's on its backside basically. So, yeah, it's just it's just a waiting game on the euro. And on the yen. So pound New Zealand extended to the downside. This is a nice looking long opportunity. It's only just got extended. We got down to the 70 level. We've just started to tick up slightly on this. looking like potentially a nice 24 bounce, nicely extended. We are long the pound. We are also now long the New Zealand dollar. So this is kind of a bit of both, really. There's no real directional bias on it. So I'm long the pound, obviously, especially against New Zealand dollar at the moment. But it depends whether or not the New Zealand is going to power up significantly. If you look at them on the COT report, there's not a lot in it at the moment, really. So they're both positive on open interest on the futures market, but not a lot. Yeah, it's kind of a tentative longer than shorter type scenario. So, it's just one of those meh type currencies at the moment. And they're both kind of meh at the moment, which is why we're seeing a little bit of a slow grind, similar to the Aussie New Zealand. We've had this slow grind going on. So yeah, it's a good opportunity for a long, I think. It's starting to play out now. We've had a reversal alert on M15, but we've just gone into a consolidation. So if we can start to break higher today, looking at the Asian lows as the first potential target, and then we've got this big accumulation, which we are going to find is going to stall the move. And as you can see, it's actually a very, very large range. So when we break up back into here, you've got to keep a very close eye on this level. For potential resistance bounce, which may well happen. If we can break that level, we should hopefully see something similar to what we had with the US dollar, where we will pull back and then try and grab the highs again. So at the moment, it's extended on the 4 hour. M15 we got extended yesterday. We've got the reversal alert. We haven't moved yet, but that is where I'd be looking initially. To trade back up to and see obviously what happens there. It may well just slam through and we'll get that lovely 24 bounce and straight back off to the highs. Bit similar to the inverse of what we got here, but bouncing off the 24, not the 72. So that's pound New Zealand. New Zealand dollar Swiss. Lovely bounce at the 24. Nicely extended, waiting for some Swiss franc strength to come through. Similar play to this. But obviously now we have a bias long, whereas there we had a bias short. But it's very weak. And when the Swissy powers up, as always, the Swissy will smash anything it gets in its way. So look out below. As soon as the Swiss franc starts to power up, that will come down. New Zealand dollar yen stuck, same as the others. Aussie yen, New Zealand yen, again, don't play both, play one or the other, both the same thing, New Zealand and Aussie. So either play New Zealand yen short or Aussie yen short. The two, I prefer the New Zealand. The Aussie yen is, the Aussie is a short bias still. This is a really nice level on the New Zealand as well. You got these 4 levels there. So we're really extended and we're running into potential reversal points there, and there. So this is your zone where we're looking for resistance, also matching in very nicely with the 72. So this looks really good for a short right now on lower time frame. M15, you're going to get one about there, about 10 pips away. M5, you've just had one and a retest. So just taking out the liquidity of Asia as well. So that's pretty good. So yeah, New Zealand dollar yen looks nice for a short. Gold, nice little sell-off going on, as Simeon's just pointed out. Is that US dollar strength? No. You see, this is what I'm saying about gold being independent now. Gold's basically just gone on its own path. It's taken its own road. It's way less linked to the US dollar, and it's got its own movement, which is nice. So yeah, nice little sell-off there. But as I say, I don't trade that. Obvious liquidity run of yesterday's high at the open. Run off with it. Everybody that saw this push and went short hasn't got out of their positions. Now they have. And the market's run away with their money, which is what it does. Hourlies, dead, flat, nothing. So all quiet on the hourlies. Nothing to see here. I'm just going to... what magic number am I using on that? D40 is 101. Have I got the latest version on here? I don't think I have. What's going on? I've TP'd on it already. Sorry, 1 second. Let me just handle this trade. Yeah, I've already TP'd on that, so I've got 0.8%. Yeah, it takes me up to 1% for the day. Close that out. Bank a percent. Sorry, 1 second. Where's the opening lines gone? I've got too much drawn on my chart. There we are. Right. Where was I? Hourlies, yeah. So hourlies, we've got nothing at the moment on the hourlies. This Aussie dollar yen's close. But obviously that's starting to come down. Let me just get rid of these Frankfurt and New York opens. Don't need those. And New Zealand dollar yen is close on the hourly as well. But that's obviously coming down as well. So they will start to play out. So yeah, so that's it really. Similar to what we had yesterday. Morning Rahat. Yes, you're late. You get a stamp in your book. 3 stamps, you're out. Only kidding. My kids have that at school. They've got what's called an expectations card. And if they get 3 strikes in it, they get a detention, which is quite a good thing to do, isn't it? 3 strikes. And I think that's every term. So you can be naughty twice a term, basically. Been short in the S&P and NASDAQ from earlier. Yeah, so we'll have a look at the indices. We'll have a look at crypto as well quickly. So crypto's stuck up at the 72, right at the break. So this support slammed. This is the first retest of this area here. And it's really not happy there. So we'll see what happens with this, but obviously this is trailing the indices at the moment. So all indices yesterday had good days. We had an up day. I managed to bank 380 yesterday. I did also, I scalped NASDAQ yesterday in this account as well, banked 160 odd. But yeah, we've pushed up basically. S&P managed to get up to this level. So if you were in the live room yesterday, we were looking at this, the highs, and it just about managed to get. It's not quite got there, but it's really not far off these highs. So if you actually look at the where I've drawn that fib, let's get rid of that fib actually. So this level here. Is basically where we were looking for the S&P to get to yesterday, and didn't think it was going to get there, but it did. NASDAQ didn't get to its level, but S&P did. So we're just coming off this morning, off of these highs. We need a pullback, obviously, on this run. So like I've been saying all along, this is potentially the start of the M pattern reversal if we're going to continue our leg down. So again, critical point yesterday to see if we could get up there. Yes, we could. Critical point today to see if we're going to collapse back down again. We could well go into an accumulation. Who knows? Here is a really good potential shorting opportunity if we are bearish minded at the moment on these. Nasdaq didn't get anywhere near it. I said yesterday in the live room, there's no way that's getting back up to double top it, and it doesn't need to. The S&P obviously is the top 500. Contained in the S&P is the top 100 Nasdaq shares as well, the majority of them. So if the S&P is going to start to sell off, it will drag Nasdaq down with it anyway. So Nas doesn't need to do the entire double top. They don't move exactly the same. They move roughly the same, and that would be enough. So again, critical point. At the moment, we're starting to sell off this morning. The DAX is selling off as well. So everything this morning is starting bearish. So we'll see where we get to in London. But I'm bearish minded on these at the moment. Want to see us obviously break the Asian levels and ideally break New York lows. So you're that's not actually New York low, is it? That is. Yes, it's that candle there basically. So that is critical point today for the S&P. So if we can break and hold here during London, potentially we'll get a New York continuation or a pop and drop. So we'll see. But it is bouncing. So but after yesterday, I mean, it really couldn't go much further than it did yesterday. I mean, that was a big old candle we put in yesterday, wasn't it? And I shorted it right at the end on the Nasdaq. Managed to get out. It actually pushed up again afterwards as well. So I can't remember where the move was. I was on M5, that's why. It was a bearish engulfing, is that one I took there, that one. And rode that to get myself back, and I got out at the lows. So I was quite lucky. It was a lucky day yesterday because at that point I was $500 down. And I managed to get 6 contracts on short to get out with $300 profit. So $900 trade, that. Very nice. But again, lucky. I just took a calculated risk that we'd gone as far as we're going today, and we've got to either pull back or reverse, and managed to get it. Sometimes you've got to have a bit of luck on your side. So, and then obviously we push back up and put in new highs. So yesterday we ended with a very strong close candle, and we've gapped down today. So we have filled the gap already. So there was a gap trade there this morning. I missed it. Too early for me, way too early for me. But the gap trade was there, which played out perfectly. As soon as it filled the gap, London Open, we came down. So we'll see what happens this afternoon. So I'm planning to, I don't know what I'm going to do this afternoon. I might do some CFDs. I might do some futures. Not decided. I've done about $1,000, just over $1,000 on futures this week. So it's not been too bad. But yeah. Still undecided. I'm still bearish on the indices, but I really want to see some confirmation today of the market having the same thoughts and putting a nice bearish engulfing in. We've got earnings. It's good earnings today, actually. So today's trading pre-market is going to be reflective of Disney, Uber, and Twilio, who were the aftermarkets yesterday. And today we've got pre-market. We've got Coke, Pepsi, Philip Morris, and Twitter. So all of this lot here is all pre-market open. So when the opening bell goes at 9:30 in New York, I think we're going to get a big flurry because we've got a lot of earnings to dump from the S&P and NASDAQ. So and then it's a dead news day tomorrow. So likely we'll get a doji or a spinning top tomorrow. So yeah, should be a good afternoon from an indices perspective. Right, it's 9:02. So I'm just going to stay on for Bailey, just to see if Bailey moves the pound this morning. There's nothing much happening on the US dollar. It's bearish this morning. So we might see a little bit of a pushback up on the indices. We'll see. So anybody got any pound on? Have I got any pound on? Let's have a look what I've got on. So I've got pound US short, pound yen long. No, I haven't. That's the strategy quant EAs. Hang on. Pound. I've got pound Aussie and New Zealand long. It's overexposed. I've got pound US short. So I'm long pound Aussie and New Zealand and short pound US. So this morning would be nice if we get something bullish coming out of Bailey, so he can pump the pound this morning, and then this afternoon CPI to pump the US dollar, which will pump the pound back down, so I can get out of my pound Aussie and pound New Zealand this morning and get out of my pound US dollar this afternoon. Happy days. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this when Bailey's talking in 5 minutes. I'm not sure why it's 9:05. Why you can't just get on at 9 o'clock, but he's obviously a bit lazy. Morning, BPDIC. Morning, Simeon. Oh no, Simeon. I've said morning, Simeon. GA pushing up. Is it? Mine's not moving. Oh, you mean this? Yeah, I mean it's gone up so far in London. But yeah, we're waiting for Bailey to do something. We'll see. Anybody got any other pairs they want to look at while I'm on, or anything else to discuss? Any other matters, as they say in meetings? While we're waiting for Mr. Bailey to shake the market up, hopefully. Got out of those spot on. Look. That was a 5-minute opening range break, just in case you're wondering why I took those trades. Yeah, I took one on the touch, and I took the rest scaled in on the close. I got out of those down there. This is what I was talking about yesterday, about the first close candle after the 5-minute open, producing a good 2 to 3 candle move. Nice easy money, 1%, 1.5% at the open. Can we have a peek at Euro CAD? Euro CAD. Oh, it's pushing nicely. Yeah, Euro CAD just waiting for that movement down. Really, we have had the move. I mean, if you took the Euro short up here, because you didn't get a reverse alert until there. This candle here is where the reverse alert came in. I'm out of that. I think I got out of that on Tuesday. You in it short still? I mean, this area here is where we're going to come back to in all likelihood, which will be the 24. But I think probably a continuation down on the euro at some point soon. So short the pops, basically. Pushing up at the moment this morning. Is that euro pushing? Yeah, euro is pushing ahead of the European forecasts at the minute. It's pushing with the pound. Yen strength, was that US dollar? It's US dollar strength. So lovely wicks there. US dollar strength. Euro yen just stung you. Yen weakness. This is nothing to do with the euro. It's the yen. So we've got a really weak yen. Money coming out. This is money flowing out of the yen. Likely liquidity grab ahead of yen strength and US dollar strength this afternoon. Have you started talking yet, Bailey? Don't think we can see him talking live, can we? No. Let's try and look on the Bank of England website to see if they've got any live feeds, but it's not really interesting to watch. Anyway, don't understand most of the stuff that comes out of his mouth, but I don't need to. Good morning. Did you touch US 30? Or because they move in sync with NAS is more or less the same bias? Did I touch the US 30? Not sure what you mean by that, Neo. Yeah, they all move the same basically. So the Dow, the S&P, and the NAS are the same thing basically. So they will all move roughly the same. The S&P is the top 500 stocks in the US. The NAS is the top 100 tech. The Dow is the top 30. The Dow is within, half of it's within the NAS. The NAS is within the S&P. So any movement on any of these will pretty much move them all. Yeah, you see, get exactly the same pattern. NAS, S&P, Dow. It's the same thing. But you will tend to find one of them will be in control. And it's normally the NAS is ahead of the S&P and the Dow because tech stocks move faster. So you'll see movement in the NAS and then you'll see movement in the Dow and the S&P because these guys move slower. Sometimes, depending on whose earnings have come out recently, you'll see the S&P or the NAS move first, or the Dow move first, and then the NAS move after, which is what we saw yesterday. We saw divergence in the NAS and the S&P yesterday. So we had the NAS yesterday doing that, and we had the S&P doing that. So we had bear divergence on the NASDAQ, which is why I was shorting it at the open yesterday. But in effect, they all do the same thing. So I'm not sure how long Bailey's talking for. It's usually a good 15 minutes or so. So we'll just keep an eye on this for a minute. See what happens. Euro yen just stung it. Yeah, let's not talk that one. Morning. Sorry to be a pain. I've messaged you on Telegram trying to set up the EA I bought yesterday. That's all right. Not quite sure what you need to set up. Let me know. You just load the set. Well, I mean, yeah. Let me have a look at your Telegram message. Which set file do I need to set up as I described yesterday? 7% a month is easily achievable. I'll use the 4-hour 15 mean reversion and files. Those are bread and butter triggered. Right, so those set files are haven't got them on here. That's no use, is it? Hang on a minute. Let me get the set files. I'll show you. Pound's pushing a little bit. Okay. So this one here, GU-M15 mean reversion, is H4-M15 mean reversion. So that is my bread and butter, that set file. Yeah. So basically what that is doing is waiting for 4-hour RSI to be extended, and then it monitors M15 looking for longs. So you put the EA on an M15 chart, and that will be set up to take longs when there is a reversal alert on the M15 time frame and the 4-hour RSI is extended. Yeah. Then you've also got the other main set file I use is GUM15, GUM5, that one there. GUAC, those are the main pairs I run with H1M5. Yeah, so that set file does the same thing, trades in both directions. And what it does is it waits for the higher time frame RSI on the 1 hour to be extended above 25 and 70, above 75 and below 25. Same as the H4 M15 set file does. Let's go back to that one. So that one is 4 hour. Oh, that's running on 6832 actually, not because it doesn't need to be quite as extended. So you run the H1 M5 on the 5-minute chart. You run the H4 M15 strategy on the M15 chart, and it will basically just monitor RSI extensions on those higher time frames and wait for the reverse alert. So right now on pound odd, if pound odd is extended on the 4 hour, that will get me into a trade. On the 1 hour, because this is M5. So if the hourly RSI was extended, which it was there, yeah. So here, yesterday evening on M5, it would have taken a reversal alert there, and it got you into your initial position there. Yeah. They're in Telegram already, Mark, those files. And they're on the blog post, basically. So you download them from the blog post or the Telegram. They're in there. So go to this post. Let me stick it in the chat. Okay. And there's a zip file at the bottom of that post, which is called MRA setfiles.zip. And that contains all of those set files. And on that blog post is all of the back testing done on pound US dollar. Yeah, just as an example of what they do and how they work. It's not going to work on every pair. You can't put them on every pair, because if you put them on every pair, you're going to get massively overexposed. Or you're going to have to keep a very, very close eagle eye on your positions and make sure you're doing good drawdown control. But yeah, it's explained. Every strategy in those set files is all explained on there and what they do. But obviously, like anything, any back testing is irrelevant compared to what is going to happen in the future. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. So what results have come out of a strategy tester in a piece of software in the past, yeah, isn't necessarily what is going to happen in the future. So there's a video there on obviously all the strategies basically, but this is the ADR reversals. So basically when we hit average daily range, it takes a reversal alert on M5. This is the hedging set file. So it takes longs and shorts. Obviously if the longs play out, the shorts get scaled into, and then the shorts get out, and then the longs get scaled into, and it basically works off of RSI the same way. This is yesterday's high low. So when we break the high of yesterday and get an alert, it takes a short, assuming that it's a stop hunt. So that's a stop hunt strategy. This is my bread and butter mean reversion GUM15, as I just explained. So 4-hour RSI extensions, we go long and short on the extensions. And then the trend pullback strategy is exactly the same as H4 M15 mean reversion, except it only takes trades in the direction of the prevailing institutional trend, and it will get in more aggressively. So this gets in at the 60-40 levels. But if you want to make this more conservative, because this can get into a bit more drawdown, here you would have been looking for shorts around here. You'd have got into drawdown on that. You would have got out, obviously, but you got into a bit more drawdown. So it gets a bit more drawdown, this strategy. And also, if you're running H4 M15 mean reversion, trend pullback, you'll find will get into very, very similar trades. So I'd only recommend running one or the other. If you are really a trend, you really want to stay in line with the trend, this one. If you're not bothered about the trend as much, then the normal H4 M15 mean reversion is better, because the market moves up and down. Yeah, the whole process, the whole theory behind this, my entire strategy, is all these sellers have got to hit the buy button to get out. All these buyers have got to hit the sell button to get out. All these sellers have got to hit the buy button to get out. All these buyers have got to hit the sell button. And this is how the market moves. And it will always move that way, because when you're buying, you've got to sell. Because if you don't sell, you'll never make money. The market is there primarily only to make money. So this principle will never end. It's been going on since the 1800s, and it will carry on going until the 2020, whatever. Yeah. This is what this strategy is. Yeah. What goes up will come down. How far it comes down, we don't know. It could be a push and a pullback. It could be a push and a reversal. We've no clue. But what will happen is, if we scale in that way, when this happens, we get out with a profit. That's the whole premise of mean reversion position trading. And that's what that set file does. And there's also an S&P version. But I would caveat on this. This is a bull market strategy. We're not in a bull market at the minute, so I'm not using this. I was using this. I caught the Santa rally beautifully with it. But at the moment, obviously, this is what the S&P normally looks like. And this is what the S&P currently looks like. Yeah, so that's the S&P bull market. We don't know whether we're in a bull market or a bear market, so I would be a little more cautious with this at the minute. But again, works in the same way. It's a pullback long strategy. It's a trend strategy, playing pullbacks. Works brilliantly in a bull market. Works brilliantly in a bear market. It's very, very simple. In a bull market, what you do is you have this set to long signals. In a bear market, you have it set to short. Really simple. You've got to be on top of bull and bear markets. So you downloaded the zip file, but you couldn't see the 4-hour one. So the 4-hour one is this one here. GUM15 mean reversion. Yeah, it says on the blog post. I think it does. Yeah. Look. GUM15 mean reversion. Gives you the name of the set file with the strategy, and then explains the strategy. It's not that clear, admittedly, but it's there. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question. So I won't answer your question in Telegram. Hopefully I've answered it. But if not, shout. Let's quickly look at the pound again. Where are we? So we've had a little bit of a push off of Bailey so far. We've just tapped highs. So probably a short induction. Continuation long, hopefully. Hey, how do you open the alerts tab manually? What do you mean by alerts tab, Ali? On what indicator are you talking about, or what you explain what you mean by that? I don't quite understand what you mean. Open the alerts tab. Do you mean the alerts tab in here? So if you set an alert, is that what you mean? Yeah, so if I set an alert and I can move the alert, this is the alerts tab. Is that what you mean? Double click on an alert, opens an alert tab. Is that what you mean? Not sure what you mean. GJ has hit ADR, is it? Not on mine yet. Still got another 10 pips to go. Check your broker candle. See what your broker did at the open. For your broker spread down to here at the open. Then if you basically, I've been through this before, but for those that may not know what your broker is up to at the swap, we were talking about swaps in the group this morning. We've got lows here. Everybody that took a long there and took a long there has a stop here. Yeah, your broker at the swap has an opportunity to open the market with a spread, and he will have a computer screen in front of him which says if you spread up that way you will earn X, if you spread down that way you will earn Y. So what he does is he spreads whichever is the most amount of money. So if your broker candle at the open is down here, they've just done a liquidity run. So you will hit ADR before me because your broker will actually be reporting different figures to my broker. This is an area, yeah. It is broker specific because your broker will have a slightly different ADR depending on how they're drawing their candles, how they're spreading, how they spread at news. Yeah. So when there's a news event, I might get a spread of that. You might get a spread of that. Obviously, the wick is going to be painted completely different on your broker to my broker, which will affect your ADR. But it's roughly the same area, roughly. So if you're seeing an ADR alert and I'm not, that's why. Some brokers, smaller brokers specifically, are way, 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 way worse than big brokers. Sean, Euro Yen. Ooh, they're all off to the moon, all the yens. Massive yen weakness. Massive yen weakness. Across the board. Let's have a look at news, see if there's any news. Bank of Japan has to apply a 0.25% purchasing yield to the 10-year JGB. So negative impact on the pound, on the yen, that news. Whenever you see a spike in the market, first thing you do is go there. Why has that happened? Yeah. Is it positive? Is it negative? So yeah, that's negative because they're buying more bonds basically, which shows that they're still in economic strife. When the asset purchases and bond purchases start to disappear off, it's better for the currency. So looks like they're increasing their purchases. So yeah, negative for the currency, but that is a knee-jerk reaction. So very nice and easy to fade it back down. It may well continue to go that way, but it will probably fade back down. But also look for levels. Are they running liquidity? Yeah. So yens, liquidity there. Not really running anything there. Pound yen running yesterday's highs. Euro yen. I mean, that unlikely that is a stop hunt. It's a bit too big, isn't it, on the euro? Swiss, yeah. So it's not a liquidity run, I don't think. It's just a knee-jerk reaction. money pulling out the yen. Ali, no. When the EA gives signals and the alerts appear, the pop-up. Oh, right. You can't. You can't reopen pop-ups if you close. The alerts. So if I switch this time frame, that you mean, you can't get that back up. As far as I know, I don't. You can't get that back up. Once that's closed, it's closed. If you want to get it up and see what the alert just was, do what I just did. But if you're doing it with the EA, don't change time frames because it can screw the EA up a little bit. It's not advisable. But if you want to, go to another chart and anything else you've got an alert on and flick time frames, depending on what you've got, it'll obviously re-alert everything that it's just alerted because it works on candle close. So that's the only way I know of that you can reopen a pop-up. Don't think you can any other way. I don't want to see a script that you could be loaded onto a chart and then you could call up the pop-up alert with a key press. Yeah, probably is actually, Andy. So yeah, Ali, go and have a look. Just Google alert pop-up script MT4 or something. Can someone tell me how to get an alert pop-up window? No. MT4 reopen alert window, Forex factory. There you go. There you go. Problem solved. After closing that window, it's possible to reopen it. I was also wondering that. Search that thread for a possible solution. Yeah. I'll give you a link to it in the chat. Go and have a hunt. Bank of Japan seems to rein in yields with unlimited fixed rate purchases. Yeah. So basically, what the Bank of Japan announced last month, a very intricate detail of how they're going to get themselves out of their current economic strife and recover from COVID and get on top of COVID and basically sort their lives out, which is great. So they come up with a very strong plan, which they are starting to now implement. So Swiss yen ADR. Oh, you're probably going to get all the yens hit at some point soon. So this looks like possibly the first part of that implementation or an adjustment to that implementation of that plan. So this doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be bad for the yen. What this means is the market is reacting to that news and they are using it to dump orders into the market. Whether or not everybody that has dumped these tens of thousands of contracts long, or rather scaled out of those tens of thousands of contracts in the euro, whether that is the play that they want or whether that is to manipulate, find liquidity to then move the play that they want, we don't know. But fundamentally, that is not high impact news. That is low impact. We knew this. It's the same as the US dollar has been doing all the way through COVID, bond purchases and basically printing money till it goes out of fashion to keep their economy alive. They scale back doing that. And all of a sudden, we see movement. So it's gonna be positive for the yen, what they've got in place. But this is just a 1 hour candle at the minute. Look at it. Yeah, it's just a 1 hour candle. Yeah. Don't panic. It's just a bull candle. Propulsion candle, we call them. And what happens a lot of time with propulsion candles? I could keep going. Yeah. Propulsion candles mean nothing. All it means is market makers are dumping into the market. Nothing else. Doesn't mean anything. It's just a move. Don't panic. I don't often watch Bloomberg and CNBC. I used to. I don't anymore either. But they are plugging the US CPI heavily this morning. They will be because of the accumulation on the Dixie. So yeah, everybody, me too. We're all sitting here waiting for the Dixie move. CPI, fully expecting that to happen today. Or like I said at the open, expecting that to happen today, and then that to happen. Yeah, why not come and take... Yeah, every single order that's been placed for the last week is still open. Yeah? They're either stopped under there, or under there. There is an absolute fortune sitting down there. If they don't come and take that, I'd be very, very, very surprised. Very surprised. But they might do. But what I would like to see them do today in London... I'd like to see them do this in London because that gives me way more confidence that they have now got the liquidity they need to take this market higher. But they might wait till CPI. This is what we see all the time, don't we? We get news events and then it comes out, whatever the news is, it flies down and everybody goes, woohoo, we'll short it. They stick their stops under there. What they're actually doing is reaching down for everybody's stops from all these positions in the past and then going, thank you very much, and we'll take you lot with us. And off they go. It's a textbook news play. And the fact that we've had a massive accumulation, this is an accumulation of orders. They're building a book. Their book will be built with a long bias. And then they will dump themselves into drawdown to grab more liquidity and run it. But I used to watch Bloomberg when I was... I had TV up on my wall and it had Bloomberg on all the time when I was trading. And what I found it did for me was every time a talking head came on and went, market's going to do this, market's going to do that, I'd go, oh, really? Excellent. Hit the button. And then it would do the opposite. And I'd be like, oh, he was wrong. And I'd see a news event coming out saying, oil supplies are like 4.2% above expectations. Excellent. Long the CAD. And then the CAD would go like that. And then the CAD would go like that. And I'd be like, I was right. I'll scale in twice as much. And then they come down and take my stop. And then it would go off again. Yeah. It just, all it does, the news, is tell you what you know is going to happen. The market is going to get manipulated around that time. The institutions that need to dump $2 trillion into the market today wait for the news event because they know that everybody is also looking to get into the market at that point, and they can grab all their little orders and then do what they want to do. That's all news is, regardless of what the news is, whether it's positive, negative, neutral, or what. That is what is happening behind the scenes with the banks. There's only 10 of them that run 85% of this market. So when you see these things happening on the yen, they just basically go, hey, look, there's yen news out. Quick, pump it. Yeah, unless it's a fundamental news event, obviously then, yes, you will have potentially big news that moves the market long term. But at the moment, they've just reclassified that, actually. That's interesting. It's just been reclassified red. Look, that was yellow news a minute ago. They've just reclassified it. So that could be a fundamental shift. But we'll see. The next 2 hours will tell. But either way, likelihood is we will fade that. And then if it wants to, it will continue. But just think about what we've got this afternoon. Yeah? Is there a reason they could be doing all of this? Enticing everybody to go long and stick their shorts under. If you're going to hit a long button now, where are you going to put your stop? Under today's high? Under the session high? What would it make sense for CPI to do? Power up the US dollar, power up the yen. Come and grab everybody's cash. Move ahead of news. Don't know. We don't know, do we? What we know is the market goes up and it goes down and it moves sideways. We get in with whatever direction we need to get in, and we scale in with our bias. Bailey must be having an extra long breakfast. No sign of him. Is he not on yet? See, this is where watching the news actually does help. Is he actually not talking? Is it? I presume it's on Bloomberg, is it? I haven't got it. I literally haven't got it. Yeah, God. Did I really used to pay that? $290 a year just to watch telly? I think I did it monthly. $199 a month. That doesn't make sense. $290 a year or $199 a month? Bloomberg, your maths is terrible. $199 a month is not. I'm missing something here. To subscribe to Bloomberg, it's $290 a year. Or if you want to go monthly, you only pay $199. $499 or $330. What am I missing? Introductory offer. Okay, fine. 3 months, right? So you get 3 months for $6 basically, and then they sting you for full whack, 35 quid a month, right? Okay, go. Yeah, so depending how many email addresses you've got, it's basically $199 a month. Set up 4 email addresses, you've got an entire year for $20 basically, haven't you? Not that I'm saying you should do that, but just an idea. Right, well, Bailey's not really doing a lot, as Andy's just pointed out. So we have had a bit of a positive new movement on the pound, but obviously this is not off the back of Bailey, which I thought was that. So we've double topped, looking bullish still. We're just about to break highs again. So pounds are looking good across the board. Beating the Swissy as well, beating New Zealand, obviously smashing the yen to pieces. ADR hit, just coming off the top, and beating the US because the US is still going nowhere. So, seeing what my positions are doing. They're all going the right way, but nothing banked yet today. So, got some bits and pieces. Euro pound looks like it's going to bank soon, but we'll keep an eye on those. Right, so if he's not talking, I will disappear and do a bit of coding. So keep an eye on these yens. If you want to fade these yens, highly likely you'll get it. So we haven't had a reversal alert on it yet, but obviously we've now created a large propulsion gap. And as we know, propulsion gaps tend to either get almost instantly filled or gradually faded. Most of the time, but I do a little bit of reading up on that yen just to see what the long-term forecast is on it. ECB may consider quantitative requirements next year if banks. Yeah, that's fine. So there's ECB news coming out as well at 10 o'clock in 20 minutes. So just be aware that there might be some movement off of that as well. If that weakens the euro, obviously that'll come down almost straight away. So, all right. So covered everything today. We'll leave it there. Keep an eye on the ADRs. Be aware of ADRs off of fundamental news. Obviously, they're a little bit more dangerous to play, but they will quite often work very, very quickly. So, we'll hopefully get some move this afternoon on CPI. So I'll be on at 2 o'clock, same as usual. CPI is at 1:30. So obviously make sure you're aware of that. It will probably affect all pairs, not just the US dollar, because we've been sitting waiting for US dollar movement. So obviously all the majors will move. So top 7 pairs are going to move straight away. And it will quite often affect yen pairs as well. And obviously we've just had yen movement this morning. So likelihood is we could well see a reversal on that yen move this afternoon at CPI release. So keep a close eye on everything this afternoon. Hopefully we'll just start all these moves we've been waiting for the last week. But, news sometimes does absolutely nothing. So we'll see how we go. But yeah, I'll be back at 2 o'clock. Do a little bit more futures this afternoon. Hopefully get some more out the NAS and the S&P. If you like the stream, give us a thumbs up. And I'll be back at 2 o'clock to have a look at what's going on after CPI. So have a good one this morning. Hopefully bank some cash. If you need anything, come into the Telegram group. I'll be in there as I always am. And I will see you hopefully at 2 o'clock.